I'd like to call to order the meeting of January 9th, 2025, the first meeting of the new year for the Charter Public School District. And we welcome you today here and virtually for those that are visiting us through that mechanism. We will begin with an invocation by Vice Chair Randy Page.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day you have given to us. We thank you for the opportunity we have to gather together and consider the business that is set before us today. Lord, our thoughts and prayers are with those who are currently suffering through the wildfires in California, through those in western North Carolina who are still reeling from the hurricane. And Lord, even as we look at our own state and that will be affected by a winter storm, we just pray that you would protect those in its path. Be with us today as we work through this agenda. Give us wisdom, give us clarity, and help us to honor you. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And our Secretary, Board Secretary Dexter Davis will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Now stand, please. Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I will now read our position and our mission statements. Start the new year correctly. The South Carolina Public Charter School District embraces its state-appointed role as a distinct authorizer of public charter schools statewide. And our mission statement: the South Carolina Public Charter School District authorizes, supports, and champions innovative K-12 public charter schools, ensuring quality educational opportunity for parents and academic excellence for students, so every South Carolina child can reach their highest potential. Thank you. Now we'll go back to our Board Secretary for the call of the roll.
Jonathan Butcher. Dexter W.J. Davis, present. Stephen Gilchrist.
Present.
Kip Miller.
Present.
Madam Chair.
Present?
Randy Page.
Present.
Dr. Teresa Pope.
Present.
Dr. Billy Strickland.
Present.
Dexter, I think Jonathan is
Jonathan
on
is
there.
here.
He is here, yeah.
Yeah.
See you there, Jonathan.
Yeah, so we've got everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Jonathan. We will now move to the consent agenda where we have 3 items. The first is the approval of today's meeting, the agenda for today's meeting, January 9th.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda for today's meeting, as well as approve the minutes for the November 14th, 2024 meeting and the minutes for the December 12th, 2024 meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of this trifecta motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. That's very efficient. Thank you. Do we have any public comments? Madam Chair, we don't have any. Thank you. Are there any informational items? Do we have a need for executive session? No. Now we move on to the action items. The first item we will take up is Felton Laboratory Charter School renewal. Kristen Farmer, Chief of Authorization and Development. Thank you, Kristen.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Neely. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Graddick and the Felton board members and staff who are here with us today. As a reminder, I will first share the renewal summary and recommendation report. This will be followed by a video presentation from the school. After the video, the PCSD Board of Trustees will have the opportunity to ask questions of the Felton representatives here with us today. Finally, the PCSD Board will entertain discussion and a vote. Please refer to the Felton Lab Charter School Renewal Report as I share an overview of the full report. Felton Lab Charter School initially approved in 2014 by the South Carolina State University, began serving students in grades K through 8 in 2015. The school transitioned to the South Carolina Public Charter School District in 2016. Located on the SC State campus in Orangeburg, the school currently serves 277 students with plans to increase enrollment to 352 by the 2027 school year. The school's mission is to provide a STEAM-focused education in a diverse, rigorous, and creative learning environment. An operational overview indicates that the school has met state-mandated certified staffing requirements for the past 6 years. Felton adheres to racial composition requirements with a student body that reflects the demographics of its local district. A board of directors with 7 active members ensures compliance with state regulations, strategic planning, and governance. And the school updated its bylaws in 2023 with a focus on transparency to ensure Felton's alignment with its mission and compliance requirements. A review of academic performance indicates recent state report card ratings that reflect mixed results. As you can see on page 3 of the recommendation report, elementary report card ratings fell from excellent in 2023 to unsatisfactory in 2024, and middle school fell from average to below average. It should be noted, however, that Felton did outperform its residential district, Orangeburg County, in both SC Ready ELA and math in 2024. Previous years show fluctuations with some challenges in subgroup performance for pupils in poverty and students of color. Academic initiatives include 80-minute blocks for core subjects, intervention blocks, and opportunities for 8th graders to earn Carnegie units in English 1 and Algebra 1. The PCSD finance team reviewed the school's recent financial performance compared to the previous 4 audited years. While enrollment has declined slightly but steadily since 2021, as of September 30th, 2024, financials reflect a net increase in the fund balance of approximately $75,000. The current cash balance shows an increase of about $410,000 compared to the prior year. Findings were present in the 2021, 23, and 24 audits. However, none of the findings were repeat findings. Late audit submissions were recorded in 2021 and 2023. The 2024 audit was submitted on time. Felton's renewal highlighted some of its innovative practices, such as the year-round calendar, which includes intercessions to support student and staff well-being, after-school programs funded by Title I and 21st Century grants support approximately 90 students with academic enrichment, and partnerships with Claflin University, SC State University, and local organizations enhance STEAM and learning opportunities. Key changes and goals to the revised charter include a significant increase in multilingual learners, or MLs, prompted plans to hire an ML instructor to provide targeted support. Revised academic goals through 2035, which aim to improve proficiency in math and reading, close achievement gaps, and reduce faculty attrition. Finally, the school will transition fully to iReady assessments in the 2025 school year, which will enhance individualized student learning. Based on a comprehensive review of Felton's academic, operational, and financial performance, we respectfully request a motion to approve Felton Lab Charter School's renewal. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. We now need a motion to put on the floor. Do I hear a motion and a second for approval of the Felton Laboratory Charter School renewal as recommended by staff?
I move that we accept the staff's recommendation for renewal of the contract for Felton Laboratory School.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
And after the video, Felton staff and school board representatives are here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay.
Welcome. I am Dr. Jean Graddick, Director of Felton Laboratory Charter School. At Felton Laboratory Charter School, we believe a complete education must include all arts: dance, creative writing, music, theater, and visual arts. As a STEAM school, infusing the arts into the school curriculum will provide infinite opportunities for creativity and innovation. The arts can provide learners with the essential knowledge and skills they need to be successful, collaboration between parents and teachers and administrators and the community. It can also provide the resources to provide, support, and sustain quality arts education programs. Our vision here at Felton Laboratory Charter School is to provide opportunities for excellence and prepare students intellectually, physically, and socially. Our mission here at Felton Laboratory Charter School is to provide a rigorous, creative, and diverse learning environment through science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. Felton Laboratory Charter School is a STEAM school. We've cultivated a dynamic and innovative learning environment that goes beyond traditional education. Our classrooms are designed to inspire curiosity, critical thinking, and personal growth. We believe in creating spaces that challenge students to explore, question, and discover. Our commitment extends far beyond our school walls. Felton Laboratory Charter School is deeply rooted in community partnership and engagement. We actively collaborate with local businesses, organizations, and community leaders to provide our students with real-world learning experiences.
Hi, my name is Aretha Langston, and I am a proud parent of an 8th grader and a proud grandmother of a kindergarten here at Felton Laboratory Schools. What I like most about having my child and my grandchild attend Felton Laboratory School is it allowed me to build relationships, community with the teachers and administrators, and that helped me and them foster a continuous education for my child. Here at Felton, I feel comfortable. I'm at that level where if I have any type of questions regarding my child, my grandchild, or if there's any concern, not only can I pick up the phone and call them during the school hours, I can also call them after hours, but not too late. I built rapport with some students here, as well as the teachers and administrators here. And during some very challenging times in my life, my personal life, my support system did not only come from my family, but it also came from the administrators and the teachers here at the school. They never skipped a beat. There were times where the teachers here reached out and actually checked on me, so that meant a whole lot to me. And aside from that, it also, being here, having my children here at Felton, it also gave me a sense of relief, almost, because when my child first started here, she started in 2nd grade. I was working in Columbia, so that it took me maybe about an hour, 15 minutes commute one way. And I often worry about, what if she gets sick? What if they need to speak to me? It's going to take me an hour and 15 minutes to get back to her. But building a relationship with her teachers and the administrators here, it just gave me that level of just feeling comfortable and knowing that my child will be taken care of on all levels here. And that's what they have exhibited throughout her education here. There was never a question in my mind to transfer her out of Felton, because I can't see her attending another school and me being able to build that rapport that I have with the students and the teachers and the administrators here at Felton. So I would encourage any parent who is considering their child attending here at Felton, come out and visit the school, speak to the administrators, speak to the teachers, speak to the students, and even some of the parents while they're walking in and out of the hallways. And I promise you, your experience here is top tier, is the next level of excellence.
What are your favorite things about Felton? My favorite things about Felton are going to the science lab, going to art class, and music.
Student engagement is the heartbeat of our educational philosophy. We don't just teach, we inspire. Our curriculum is designed to be interactive, personalized, and meaningful. We recognize that each student has unique learning styles, interests, and potential. Behind every successful student is a team of dedicated, continuously learning educators. At Felton Laboratory Charter School, we've established robust professional learning communities that foster collaboration, innovation, and professional growth.
Hello, my name is Deborah Cooper Davis, and I am honored to serve as the Board of Director Chair for Felton Laboratory Charter School. I come before you to present the Charter Renewal Plan, a very crucial step in ensuring the continued operation and success of our school for years to come. Felton was founded in 1920 and has been the cornerstone of this community, educating generations of students. Felton sits on the campus of the best HBCU in the country, South Carolina State University. This renewal is not just about preserving a school, but safeguarding a 100-year-plus legacy of excellence and commitment to our children. The approval of this charter renewal is vital. Without it, we risk disrupting the education of hundreds of students and potentially losing a critical community asset. This renewal will allow us to expand programs, enhance resources, and continued investing in the next generation to come. I invite you to join us in supporting this renewal and securing the future of Felton Laboratory Charter School. Your approval is essential in allowing us to carry forward this legacy and ensure our students have every opportunity to succeed.
Okay, I'd like to welcome the representatives from Felton Lab Charter School to join me.
Good morning. I am Dr. Jean Graddick, Director at Felton Laboratory Charter School. Madam Chair, I am excited to be here, and I am joined by members of my leadership team. I have Ms. McKinney, who is our Special Ed Coordinator. We have Ms. Brunson, who is our Reading Coach, and we have Ms. Todd, who is our Guidance Counselor. We are also joined by members of our board chair, Ms. Cooper Davis, and so we're excited to be here. And we are ready for any questions you may have.
Are there any questions the board would like to ask?
I have a question. What is the partnership like with South Carolina State? I remember being in undergrad school there and being able to go there and observe teachers and actually get firsthand knowledge of what it's like to be a teacher. Is that relationship still the same?
That relationship is there, and it has been intensified. We are working with South Carolina State University with our music program. We're working with the education program. We have provided some proposals for partnerships in the engineering department, the science department, and career and technologies department. So we are definitely integrating the university whose campus we sit in the heart of.
Thank you.
Yes, question. My question is centered around the chamber there in Orangeburg. Is there a partnership or efforts to connect Felton to the chamber in Orangeburg?
Yes, sir. I was just speaking with my business partner about us moving to make sure that we're a member of that chamber and that we are involved and that we actually have some in partnerships with them. So we are working in that area to move more and have more integrations in that area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yes, Kip?
I had questions just around your budget. You have some capital expenditures here, or I guess long-term liabilities of $8.5 million. And what does that consist of? You have buildings that you've purchased or built, or what is that?
Okay, we work with Veris, our financial partner, and they run our budgets and our management. I am not prepared to answer that question today about the $8.5 million. I do have other members of the team, if they're prepared to answer it, but we can always get back with you with an answer to that question.
Yeah, it's just a curiosity thing more than others. You had the year before 10 million, so you reduced it 1.5 year over year, then you reduced it again 1.6. So that's pretty aggressive payback if it's some type of loan. But the other question is you had over $2 million worth of cash, and I just wondered if there were any long-term plans for how that money might be expended.
Well, we work within a budget. We work with our facilities, our students, our staff, and so our budget is centered around making sure that the operations at Felton Laboratory Charter School continues and that we maintain a cash flow and that we stay fiscally responsible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? You have a question?
Really quick question.
Yes.
First of all, I just wanted to thank you. I know that you have a choice as to who you can choose for your to have your charter with. I just really appreciate the fact that Felton chose the South Carolina Public Charter School District.
You're welcome.
Had one quick question when looking at academic performance, particularly on the report card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, understanding that report cards really are a picture at one moment in time. Looking at the 2022 to 2023 rating for elementary was excellent, and then the 2023 to 2024 rating for elementary fell to unsatisfactory. And I've also read through the appendix to see, you know, a number of strategies that you're working on to improve that. Was there anything in particular that happened that year with student population, or that precipitated that?
Well, we had several factors that precipitated that decrease in our report card data. We've dealt with attrition with teachers, and we have created steps to deal with that and to increase their efficacy and capacity. We've dealt with some of the fiscal issues, and we've also dealt with making sure that our students in their progress monitoring, we've addressed that with intervention, school-wide intervention. So we have looked at our report card as a team. That was one of the things that I did as I came on as the new director, and we implemented 7 steps to address that. The first thing we did was we gathered the leadership, and we began to analyze and review the academic data. We looked at where our challenges were. We definitely see a challenge in our student growth. And so what we decided to do as a team is we needed to make sure that we inputted school-wide intervention. We also looked at our 31% attrition rate, and we knew we needed to put in professional development. So we implemented professional development learning communities. In those communities weekly, we look at student data. We have broken down the student data. We have worked with our K-5 and our 6-8, and we are now making sure that we have school-wide intervention that is individualized and personalized. And we're using the iReady to do that. We've also made sure that the teacher efficacy and their use of the South Carolina State Standard Support Document, we make sure that they understand how to do the standards, the pacing guides. We've also utilized our human resource of our instructional coach and our reading coach, and also myself and my assistant director have degrees in curriculum instruction and assessment. So we're utilizing those resources in our buildings to make sure that we can affect the scores in a positive way. But we do know that achievement is steady. We have steady achievement there, just not the consistency that we want. So this year, we're working towards individualized, personalized student growth.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, thank you. Actually, Trustee Page asked the very question that I was going to ask about the academic. Let me just again echo my colleague to say we're delighted that Felton Laboratory School is one of our schools. So my wife, who is a 30-year educator, she's retired now, but she started her what they called then pre-step at Felton Laboratory School when we were at South Carolina State together. She tried to get me to do it, but she knew better to get involved with education. But Felton Laboratory School was her first foray into education in South Carolina, and she received a wonderful experience there. And it seems like our children are experiencing that same thing now. I did have another question about Claflin University and whether or not their involvement or what their involvement is in the school.
Definitely. They're part of the pre-step program there. So we have their teachers that come in, and they're working with our certified teachers all across the building in every content area. So we actually received an award from Claflin, and we had to attend a luncheon for all of the work that we do with the university and the pre-step program.
Right.
And we definitely have some new teachers that have graduated from Claflin University. So we're excited about that partnership.
Sure. Good. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Coach?
Yes, looking at the data, and I understand as a former superintendent, the data of students of poverty, all students can learn, but you have some difficult things, and I congratulate you on continuing to work on that. And I know from a report card standpoint, to address that, sometime if you make too much growth one year, then you got to keep growing even more and more.
Sorry.
And unfortunately, some of the students may have reached about as high as they're going to go.
Yes, sir.
You know, and therefore, that then you're gonna drop then the next year. So when you make a big jump and congratulate, that was great.
Yes, sir.
But it's hard to maintain that, and because it's based on the growth index, not on, what the end product is. So in response, and I know you didn't. Thank you. You don't want to have excuses, but I'm helping.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I have no compensation for that.
Yes, thank you, sir.
But that's where we are, and I'm glad Dr. Pope is nodding and agreeing. Sometimes we don't agree.
Yeah.
But she nods with agreement. But
Yes.
that's very difficult, but I think with the iReady and the individual, because you're small enough to have that.
Yes, sir.
And it is important, because every child can grow, and you want them to continue to grow. But the year, you're probably penalized on that certain year to grow too much, and then they didn't grow anymore, and therefore you drop down is my interpretation. And I'm looking at, I don't get any reaction out of John Payne back there, but maybe he'll correct me if I'm wrong in a moment. But that's it. But thank you for the job, and it's a very difficult to maintain growth of children. There's no doubt about it. But thank you.
That's great, that's great. I wanted to make a few comments. When I read some about you, a little more about you, I want to say, in the part about us that you have on your website, this is something I think is so key. Welcome to our school. We believe that parent participation is key to student success.
We do.
And it's the key to success in life and these relationships.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I can't say how much I value you holding that standard high. Because in a sense, these are the schools built on love, active love,
Yes, ma'am.
engaging love, because they're based on these values of parents. And what parent doesn't want to see the best for their child? Now, then I had two other questions. They kind of go together. Tell me about the benefit of your specific and unique calendar, school calendar, and also a little bit about the iReady concept. And before you say that, it's my impression that from looking at iReady from a distance, that it gives the student what I'll call a micro opportunity to catch up or move forward. Do you see what I mean? So,
Yes,
but I'd
ma'am.
love you to tell me about that.
Okay. Well, first, let's look at iReady. And you're right. It will drill down into the challenges that our students have. And it is a program where we can go in. Let me give you an example of an observation where I walked into a second grade classroom and the students were working on measurement. With iReady, that teacher was able to, based on previous analysis and assessment of the students, she was able to put the students into different groups wherever their academic strengths were. And with iReady, the teacher will be able to set up groups. She can work with a group individually, and then she can have the other students working on, let's see, their challenge is early measurement. They can be working on that. The next group, we can be working on late measurement. When we say early, we mean second grade, so they're still in the bottom part of the first grade working on measurement, or they're ready to move into the third grade. And iReady allows us to do that at Felton. It allows us, one, to create those intervention groups, and it also allows us to rotate the learning process. Where the teacher is here, we rotate the group, and the teacher moves there, and the students are constantly being evaluated by iReady, because as they increase their knowledge of the content, then iReady bumps up the rigor and the challenge. If they're having some difficulty with the content, then iReady backs up and does some reinforcement with it. So we're excited about having iReady, not only for our teachers who can have those groups moving through the room, but also because our students are now getting that individualized, personalized learning with the iReady.
Is it your first year or second year with it? Or?
This is my first year. I think I've been here about 5 months, maybe. I started in August.
I mean, with an iReady.
iReady. No, we started last year. Is that right, Ms. Brunson?
Yeah.
Yes, we started last year, and next year we'll be fully implemented.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And along with this idea of kind of like micro re-opportunity, just give me a sense of how the school enjoys the calendar that you have.
The calendar, yes, ma'am. That, let's start with our teachers. Working for those 45 days and then having that 2 weeks off to reboot, to refresh, is something that our teachers enjoy. It also allows us to take that 10 days of intercession, and for students that need us to drill down even more, we have that area, that space to do that. We also have our 21st Century and EED federal grants that allow us to work during that intercession period. So based on our goals, we can bring the students in and we can work with them during that intercession. So it's rest, it's reboot, but it's also a period for intervention. I love that teachers are off, students are off if they need to be, and the administration and leadership team, we're in the building. So that gives us a chance to dig into the data, come up with our goals, come up with our steps, and then when the students and teachers come back, we're ready, we're fresh, and then we just reboot. That's a benefit of that year-long calendar.
Well, that's really great that y'all have pioneered this and thought of it and are executing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any other questions? Yes.
Dr. Braddock, it's good to see you and your board and members of your staff.
Yes, sir.
We had such a great visit when I was down there last semester, and just really appreciate the new energy that you've infused into the school and your passion for these students.
Yes,
I just think it's a wonderful story. This school was started in 1920, and that was at a time when schools were segregated. And what a beautiful thing that 125 years later, it's now a school of choice in the middle of Orangeburg County on South Carolina State University campus. And I just think it shows and demonstrates all the possibility when community comes together and supports putting all kids first.
Yes.
So I just congratulate you and your team and everyone that preceded you in the legacy of this school and all the possibility and potential that you have in the future.
Yes,
I guess my one and only question is, what are we going to do to celebrate 125 years?
Superintendent, we have received some emails of things that we might want to plan. One of the things that my team and I have implemented is we've got to do more with the students socially. So we are looking at what we can do, student-wise, school-wise, community-wise. So we're looking at putting together some celebrations. We definitely have to get with our board and our board chair, and we're gonna look at how we can move into the community and be recognized for the fact that we are there, we are strong, we are growing. And I do want to say what our mantra is at Felton. Our mantra, besides our responsibility, our school, we have implemented the African proverb where we ask ourselves at every meeting, how are the children? And if we can't answer the children are well, we make adjustments. We look at it, we analyze, we talk, we plan, we discuss, we implement, and we expect what we go and we expect what we tell the teachers we need. We are making sure the children are well.
I look
you.
forward to that celebration, and the
Yes.
district will be there to help celebrate.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Superintendent, you know I'll call you.
Thank you.
I do have one final question, if I may
Yeah.
ask.
Yes.
I do know or have gotten wind that there's going to be another school coming to your community, correct?
Yes.
How will that affect, or will it affect at all, the goals and the aspirations?
Well, our goals and our aspirations are, let me say, liquid. We always look at it, we always evaluate it, we always go in and see what we need to adjust and what we need to change. We welcome the challenge. We welcome the competition. We know Felton is a school of excellence. We know that we are a school that values team, that values partnership. We know we are a school that values students first. So we welcome that challenge, and we will still be standing 100 years from now.
Yes, right. So we did have a motion. Dr. Pope made a motion, and yeah, seconded. And now, is there any more discussion? We want to begin any discussion amongst ourselves? Any questions? No? Hearing none, we will now put the motion to a vote. All in favor of the renewal for Felton Laboratory Charter School, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Of course not. Congratulations. Thank you.
Dr. Lancaster, can you come on this side? And then Dr. Pope, I either need you to come down or go to the other side of Superintendent Neely. You're in the middle. Can't see you. Okay, she's good. She's good. Yeah, you're good. We can see you now. Do you have the rights? Can you get all the rights out of it? Yeah, you're good.
Thank you all. Now we will move on to item B under action items, the November 2024 financial report by Nick Michael, the lead of a clean audit for the South Carolina Public Charter School District.
Yeah, since, Madam Chair and members of the board, since you brought up the clean audit, I did want to just make a comment. After the last board meeting, we were able to successfully submit our audit report on time, even with 13 late schools submitting to us. All right, for my November financial report, Madam Chair and board members, at the end of November, we expect 58.33% of the general fund approved budget to remain. We are currently at 56.52%. My report will show the district is operating at a net gain for the month, increasing our fund balance for the year. If you flip over to page 2, this is the district-wide income statement, which includes general fund state aid to classrooms revenue transferred to our schools. Through November 30th, the district received over $82.3 million in revenue, with total expenditures of over $82.3 million, which equals a net gain of $97. Of the revenue received, over $80.2 million was sent to our schools under the state aid to classrooms line and for any that participate in the South Carolina retirement system. Flipping over to page 3, this report is the income statement for the district office only, which includes general fund revenue recorded for our 2% authorizing fee, donations, interest income, and any other local sources. For the month of November, the district recorded over $466,000 in revenue, over $434,000 in expenditures, for a net gain of $31,898 for the month. This increases our estimated fund balance to $2,528,874. The 45-day funding update later this month will show an increase in revenue and a net gain for the month as well. If you flip over to page 4, this report breaks out the district's budget and expenditures by department. Leadership has a budget of over $1.64 million, expenditures of over $807,000, with 51% remaining. Sponsored Performance has a budget of over $1 million, expenditures of over $379,000, with 65% remaining. Support and Implementation has a budget of over $836,000, expenditures of over $385,000, with 54% remaining. External Affairs has a budget of over $621,000, expenditures of over $242,000, with 61% remaining. And lastly, Financial Services and Operations has a budget of over $820,000, expenditures of over $358,000, with 56% remaining. And the final page of my November report is generated monthly by the State Department of Education and includes all state funding calculated for our district. Of the $241.7 million of our current allocation through November, $236 million of that is under the state aid to classrooms line, which is approximately 97.64%. Madam Chair, this concludes my November financial report, and I respectfully request board approval at this time.
Thank you. Do we hear a motion for board approval of the financial report?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the financial report as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussions or questions? Hearing none, I'll just ask a simple question. Nick, now, as we go through this every month, if there's anything you need to tell us, like, for example, under leadership, there's the 88,226 number, the negative 158.
Yes.
And so if there's anything that you think we need to know or why or doesn't matter,
That's just simply a coding issue. We have to do a journal entry. And in the next, my next presentation, which is coming up here in just a minute, I'm going to be presenting a budget amendment.
Okay, that's good.
And I'll go through the reasons why.
I just learned something. The next time my husband asks me about something on a sheet like this, I'm just going to say it's a coding issue. I thank you for that. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, write that one down.
Yeah, I got it. I don't have to write it down. I got it. Okay. Voting. Now, excuse me, here we go. Now we need a motion and a second to approve the budget, the 2024-25 budget amendment as presented by staff. Nick, Michael. Yeah. Oh, he didn't, he needed it. Huh?
Did we vote?
Yes.
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 Yes, yes.
Now we go
Okay.
to the budget.
The budget amendment, yeah. I'm sorry, I read the motion. I apologize. Yeah, we're too early for a motion. You go.
Were you gonna vote on the?
We didn't
We
vote.
got to vote on the financial services.
We had a motion and a
Oh,
second.
I thought
Yeah,
we
motion
voted.
second.
Okay. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Thank you. You can mark that. Okay. Now on to the 2024 budget amendment. Nick.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. Back in June of 2024, you approved the third reading of our fiscal year 2025 general fund budget. These conservative revenue projections included a total budget of $4,997,500, with our 45-day membership count increasing 249.10 ADM and 1,831.97 weighted pupil units, and our investment income in LGIP thriving. I'm forecasting actual revenue to increase 5.93%, or $296,500 for the year. On the expenditure side, the district is taking a proactive approach by moving some Title I salaries and benefits back to the general fund. This is due to communication sent from the South Carolina Department of Education mid-year requiring the district to no longer fund 100% of salaries and benefits from Title I as we've done in prior years. This is a direct result of a USDE audit on the state's Title I expenditures and allowability. These additional expenditures present a balanced budget for the year, increasing salaries $150,000, increasing benefits $100,000, travel $16,500, and supplies $30,000. So you'll see an increase of revenue of $296,500, and then the same increase in expenditures for a balanced budget for the year. This amendment is still somewhat conservative, allowing for potential increases in our 2% authorizing fee and investment income upwards of an additional $100,000 in revenue for the year. So I'm conservatively projecting $296,500, but in reality, it's probably going to be an additional at least $100,000 later in the year for another amendment. Madam Chair, this concludes my general fund budget amendment, and I respectfully request board approval at this time.
Thank you, thank you. We need a motion and a second to.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Dexter, to approve the 24-25 budget amendment as presented by staff. With that motion and second, are there any questions for Nick? Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I would just like to add that, Title I is always a challenging program. The federal government's never quite done it just right. They really need to just block grant it to the states and let the states get the money to every child, every pupil in poverty. But it doesn't work that way, and not all our schools are able to receive money because of the formula that the feds use and the department uses. All that to say, when we were presented with this challenge and change by the department due to the look that the U.S. Department's given on them, the staff talked and said, look, we'd rather the district take the hit on this, on our general fund, than to pass that hit on to the schools, because we need every dollar to go to the children. And so that's why we're having this change, is the district is standing up and saying, we'll take the hit on our budget so that the schools don't take the hit with the children.
I have a question, Nick. Could you just tell me just briefly, we have additional revenue coming in, it looks like from the state, of $310,000 for Meyer Center. Could you just speak to that?
Yes. So Meyer Center receives, under proviso, they receive additional funding for 3- and 4-year-old students that they're serving with disabilities. So in my budget forecast, I was conservative with our estimate, and that's where that additional money's coming through.
Okay, thank you.
maybe nationally, that whole premise should be looked at, Title I, you know, and because you're making a very good point. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the 24-25 budget amendment as presented by staff. Any further questions? If we are ready to vote, we'll put the motion to a vote. All in favor of the approval of the 24-25 budget amendment as presented by staff, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The ayes have it. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hey, John.
Good morning.
Hey. Good morning.
All right, Madam Chair, trustees, before I begin my sponsor performance updates, I want to briefly repeat what Superintendent Neely shared with you yesterday regarding the Power School data breach. Tuesday afternoon at 2:11 p.m., the district was notified by Power School, which is the statewide student information system vendor, of a data breach that occurred in late December. In their email, Power School indicated that upon discovery, they immediately engaged their cybersecurity response protocols as the breach allowed an unauthorized party access to certain data. At 2:55 p.m. on Tuesday, within an hour of the initial notification from Power School, Superintendent Neely reached out to the State Department of Education leadership to ensure that they were aware of the incident. Yesterday, on Wednesday at 2:52 p.m., the Department of Education sent an email indicating that Power School was breached by a malicious actor, that the breach is international in scope, and that the SCDE is treating this as a full breach, given it allowed access to tables for every student and teacher since the adoption of Power School. Power School has engaged the FBI, and the State Department of Education is notifying the Attorney General as well as SLED. Additionally, the State Department of Education reiterated Power School's plan to provide communication packets to notify students, parents, and staff, as well as offering to support districts. Since the initial notification and Superintendent Neely's email to the department, the district has taken the following steps. First, we attended a webinar yesterday hosted by Power School CEO Hardeep Gulati and received additional information, including suggested immediate steps for districts and states across the nation and world. Second, we immediately implemented those steps for the district. Third, we notified all of our school leaders of the Power School breach and shared that we will be providing resources from Power School as well as the department as soon as they're released. And finally, this morning at 10 a.m., we had a staff member who attended a meeting hosted by the Department for Superintendents, which began at the same time as this board meeting. Chief Susan Howard is attending on behalf of Superintendent Neely. It's important to note that this is not a breach of a district information system nor a state information system, rather a data breach of the Power School system on an international scale by malicious actors. We are continuing to closely monitor this situation, staying in contact with the department and keeping our schools up to date with the information as we have it. And we will certainly keep you up to date as well as our schools as we learn additional information.
Thank you. What is your greatest fear about it, or do you have one? What is your greatest fear about this issue?
The greatest fear is that, of course, anytime anyone has access to data, they have access, in this particular instance, they have access to a lot of personally identifiable information. And so, for that reason, Power School, on an international scale, is preparing to provide credit monitoring and resources to parents, faculty, students, and staff, not only in the United States and Canada, but across the globe for their customers.
And just to follow up, this would be even more dangerous for an adult, right, who might have a credit Because that involves maybe credit access and things like that.
Yes, ma'am, and for that reason, Power School, on an international scale, we assume will be providing that credit monitoring and covering those costs for parents consistent with, the security laws and regulations and procedures across the country.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we'll move on to the report card overview.
Prior to that, Madam Chair, I would like just to touch on a couple of updates.
Okay.
First and foremost, as I think was shared with you, we did receive 21 non-binding letters of intent on November the 1st, 2024. We are getting ready for applications to potentially come in on February 1st, 2025, here in just a few weeks. We held our pre-applicant training on November the 18th, and we had 18 entities that attended. In terms of our data and accountability, our school's annual reports were due December 31st, so we are going through and processing and reviewing those, which we will need to combine and provide to the State Department of Education by January 31st. And we're continuing to support schools with data and Power School needs, specifically with respect to this potential malicious actor that has impacted Power School environment. In terms of just a couple of non-material charter changes, due to overwhelming demand, Green Charter School Simpsonville will serve grades K through 7 in 2025-26. They were originally planning to do K through 4 and 6 through 7, but because of the demand are adding the additional grade. Green Charter School Taylors will delay opening until August 2026 due to unexpected facility obstacles and delays. Now, in terms of a brief overview of the report cards, just a couple of things. So, as you probably know, report cards are required under state and federal law. In South Carolina, schools receive an overall rating with established points that go from 0 to 100. Ratings and performance data are also there for specific measurements, such as assessment results and graduation rates. Additional data is presented on report cards that is required for which no ratings are given, such as financial information, school safety. Districts have summative report cards, but districts do not receive ratings. Rather, the information is just provided. The report cards are used to identify low-performing and underperforming schools, and the report cards for the 23-24 school year were released in October 2024. Some summary observations that I will repeat as we get, when we conclude this presentation. We continue to outperform the state as well as our comparison schools in most areas. Our schools are certainly not immune to the challenges in mathematics performance. That is something that we continue to see in summative assessments, and that is not unique to the district nor the state. That's a national problem, as we've seen English language arts scores increase to pre-pandemic levels, but we're just not there as a nation, quite honestly, in mathematics. Alternative education campuses, or AECs, were removed for graduation rates in the data that I'll provide. However, if we remove those from the other measurements, such as assessment results, it would show higher performance for the district due to the unique population served by the AECs in our portfolio. The report cards underscore the importance as well as the value of the AFO index. Dr. Strickland, you were right, absolutely right, and I agree with you, sir, in terms of the fluidity and the issue with growth and the challenges that presents. But I think with our AFO, particularly where we're looking at our schools' goals, their charter goals, that's critically important. And lastly, I just wanted to note that we are beginning our subgroup data analysis in this month, just as we did last year in January of 24. In terms of our report card ratings, so this is the distribution of overall ratings by grade band, and in the parentheses are the ratings from last year. So for example, for the 24 report cards, we had one elementary school rated as excellent. Last year in 23, we had 3 schools rated as excellent. You can see down towards the bottom, sort of where it's going in terms of total, we're removing kind of a middling effect. In other words, we have a total of 21 schools that received average ratings when the report cards were released this past October, compared to last year where we had 12 schools that received an average rating. And you can see the distribution there. It's important to note that this slide does include our alternative education campuses that again serve as dropout recovery and prevention schools to a unique population of marginalized and fragile children. Here is the list of our schools that were rated excellent, and we certainly congratulate them in their hard work. They include Bridges, particularly Bridges High, which is their second consecutive year of getting an excellent rating. Fox Creek, Greenville, Greenville Tech, which is now its third consecutive year of being rated excellent. Greer, which is in its second consecutive year. High Point High School, Lone Country Montessori High School, PSA, the high school for the third consecutive year, and lastly, York Preparatory Academy. In terms of ELA proficiency, as you see in the top line, we continue to outperform the state in our SC Ready English Language Arts assessments. You can see that for the assessment data that came out just this past October, the district had 56.3% of its students that scored proficient or higher, compared to the state at 54.1%. Contrastingly with mathematics, as I mentioned a moment ago, you can see that the district is slightly underperforming the state at 38.1% of students scoring proficient or higher, compared to last year where we had 42.8%, or excuse me, compared to the state, which is 42.8% this past year. In terms of high school, the end-of-course assessments, as you probably know, the end-of-course assessment is federally required for English and mathematics. The way that happens in South Carolina is we use the end-of-course assessments for English 2 and Algebra 1. As you see in this slide, last year, for the 24 school year, 71.8% of our scholars scored a C or better on this assessment, compared to the state at 66.4%. And you can see that over the course of the last 3 years, that number just kind of rising with some pretty good marks. In terms of algebra, just like with the elementary and middle school, SC Ready in mathematics, we're slightly underperforming the state at 45.9% of our students scoring C or better, compared to the state at 47.8%. In terms of graduation rates, you can see on this slide where we look at the data and compare it to the state going back to the year 2018. And as you can note, we're getting kind of at a steady mark now. We're at 86.6% of graduation rate, compared to the state at 85.3% graduation rate. One of the things that we undertook this year is we examined the closest comparable grade-banded school to our charter schools. So for example, Fox Creek High School, we looked at the closest high school geographically to Fox Creek to assess how does our school sort of shape up compared to the closest grade-banded high school. And what you can see in this slide is that the overall rating, 26 of our schools outperformed their closest, or 26 report cards were issued where it outperformed the rating compared to the closest school. We had 17 of our schools that underperformed, and then we had 4 that were non-applicable, and that's just because of our new schools. And you can see in ELA, our schools are doing a really good job compared to their closest schools, with 37 of our schools' report cards being better than the overall rating, being better than the comparable school. And then you can see we're slightly a little higher than mathematics. So this slide gives you a comparison of our schools to the closest geographic comparable school to them. Again, to revisit the summary observations, we continue to outperform the state in most areas. We are not immune to the challenges in mathematics. Again, I mentioned the note about our AECs, as well as the importance of our charter accountability system that we've styled the AFO index. And then again, as a reminder, we are beginning to examine our subgroup and subgroup results. Madam Chair, that concludes my update on the report card, as well as my update on sponsor performance.
We have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Jennifer, well, thank you again for a great report. My question, do you think there'll be a day where, though the challenges of math are what they are, that there'll be a breakout of proficiencies for technology and science and engineering? Because I know traditionally seems like our schools will lead in the areas of language and arts, right?
Yes, sir.
Parent participation is critical to that, and we all obviously get a lot of that from our parents. How will we be able to measure our science, technology, and engineering? Do you see a day coming where we can pull those proficiencies out?
I think in some ways, absolutely. And I think there's already begun some ways of doing that, particularly on the report card with looking at college and career readiness. In terms of career readiness, schools get points and recognition for students that complete certain work-based learning, internships, those kinds of things related to engineering, math, science, and those kinds of things, as well as in academics in terms of the kinds of assessments they provide. The summative assessments typically are going to be, related to the state standards in mathematics. However, we do have, and schools have, access to break that down by the various clusters of standards in every subject grade.
His mind has sparked one question for me. In the cumulative nature of math, do educators or scientific educators, do they find that it is important the beginning of that pursuit with math? I mean, or can you interject, at any time? How do they consider their best conquering path for that paradigm?
Absolutely. So one of the things that Dr. Graddick mentioned earlier is really data fluency and data literacy, and for our educators to really be able to unpack the standards, unpack the assessment results, to know specifically what standards or clusters of standards does the school need to focus and target on. Mathematics, you're exactly right, Madam Chair, is kind of a cumulative. You have to learn addition and subtraction and multiplication all the way up to advanced calculus and those kinds of things. So it is kind of cumulative in nature. Unlike English language arts, where our parents and our students, we read social media, newspapers, those kinds of things. Mathematics is not one of those subjects that we typically do in the course of our natural lives, as opposed to reading and writing, whether it be good writing or good reading or not. But and I think that has had a significant impact. We are strategizing the kinds of support that we want to provide our district or our schools within our district related to mathematics, so that we believe that through some targeted support, we should be able to, and we're hopeful of increasing those proficiency rates.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Are we finished for today? Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Emily Baker, supported implementation.
Madam Chair, I just have one more question.
Yes, Jonathan, yes.
Thanks. Sorry, my microphone wasn't working. I just wanted to ask, when was Green Taylor supposed to open? What was their original date?
Green Taylor's was slated to open August of 2025, so it's a one-year delay.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Happy New Year. Today for the support and implementation team, we have 3 updates, and then I'm going to give you a weather update as well, because that's part of my job. The first update is pertaining to the SCPP grant. We have discussed this before. This is the South Carolina Pathways Project grant. We are one of 5 districts in South Carolina that are participating in that grant. Reminder that the purpose of this grant is to build out an alternative pathway to high school diploma for students with disabilities. So I want to give you an update on that. This grant is in action, and it is moving, and it's moving quickly. So the updates I have for you is that High Point Academy will be our pilot school as we build out this program. Dr. Kelly Pugh, who is a friend of our office, is leading the charge for the curriculum writing for this program, as well as we have gathered a group of internal school level staff as well as external experts to work together in collaboration to build out the curriculum writing. So the phase we are in right now is the writing teams have been formed, and they are working through their timelines, which is kind of giving the urgency for the curriculum writing. They were to convene in our office tomorrow for their first curriculum writing session, and that, as you imagine, is delayed now for 2 weeks. The second thing I have is an exciting new project that we are, and my headlines aren't showing up, so I apologize, but the Parent Advisory Council for students with disabilities. This is an exciting project that we are going to launch this month via a press release. You'll see the press release will go live this month. To give you a background on kind of how we got here, our special education population at the district level has grown exponentially in the past 5 years. You'll see here that we have grown 69% with an increase of students with disabilities since the fall of 2020. We currently service 2,950 students with IEPs and an additional 966 students with 504s. As you can imagine, our population is evolving and we need to evolve with that population. So we are going to host regional and state parent advisory councils with members of district staff, school level staff, as well as parents and guardians, so that we can receive feedback on district policies, as well as advocate for state and federal policies as well for our students with disabilities. The last thing I have is an update on 2 outstanding corrective action plans that we discussed the last time we met. Careless Online Academy submitted their district corrective action plan. We as a district have provided back our response to that. There were 3 deliverables in that DCAP. 2 of those deliverables were deemed met. 1 was deemed not met, which has led to our response, which is an enrollment pause for Careless Online Academy for the current time, as well as we are requesting a third-party SPED audit. I also regret to inform you that yesterday, January the 8th, Careless Online Academy did receive another DCAP from the office pertaining to assessment in Power School. I will give you a full rundown of that next month, but that did go live yesterday since you have received your board packets. The second corrective action plan update is pertaining to Sea Island Heritage Academy. That corrective action plan, those deadlines have passed. The deadlines were met. As a team internally, we are working through next steps, and I'll give you an update on that in February. The final thing I have that does not have a slide is that, yes, we are aware that there is a wintry mix coming to the Midlands and North tomorrow through South Carolina. Our district office will be closed tomorrow. We will all be working remotely just to keep the roads open for those that need access to them. Brad, myself, and Brooke are also tracking the weather in real time and the school closures in real time. I will report those to the State Department as of 10:43 this morning. We have 5 schools that will be e-learning tomorrow, 1 school that is early release. Brooke will post those in real time on our website, as well as I will make sure the State Department is updated. So we are tracking the weather through tomorrow and hopefully not through next week. That concludes my report pending any questions.
Thank you. Yes.
You go. Emily, thank you.
Yes.
Good report. Question, will one of the measurables with this SPED program be able to equip qualified leadership to be ready to employ and deploy for other schools? Will that be one of the measurables? Because one of the challenges I know in some of the schools that we work in or participate in is that when it comes time to employing that SPED qualified educator, of course it costs a good bit, right? A qualified one that's full-time, it's hard to find one. Will one of the outcomes for this program be to equip, so maybe some of our charter schools can have someone on the bench?
Are you referring to the parent advocacy group?
The leadership.
Okay, so we are working always and communicating with the State Department because the State Department is aware of the special education teacher shortage. So we are always working with that, and I know Emily's heavily involved with the alternative certification routes, and one of them that has been approved does have a special education teacher component to it. Okay. So that has been on our radar for years, and I know and we've been working collaboratively with the State Department. The parent advocacy group, I'm sure that will come up because it's just such a detrimental need. But we're going to let the parents drive those conversations of what their concerns are and how we can help advocate for policy.
Thank you.
Is there a workforce component to the PP grant?
Yes, so there's a workforce component to the South Carolina grant that we're doing, that 5-year federal grant, but it's with the students. It has nothing to do with teacher-educator components, but there is a shadowing paid internship component to it to really integrate some career and college readiness skills. There's more to come on that. The state is evolving it because we're only in year 2 of 5 years of that grant, and there will be a funding component that we can supply.
Thank you.
Susan Howard, our chief of S&I, is spearheading that PP grant as well as the Parent Advisory Council. So she's here for your questions pertaining to this as well.
I've got a quick question on Carolyn's Online Academy with the enrollment pause. Can you kind of elaborate the extent or the timeline on how long that pause will be in effect?
So we have not put a time on that. We are collaborating with the school often. We have district level supports that are meeting with the school on very basic items weekly. Once we feel that the school is ready to re-enroll and open their doors and the basics of enrolling students, records requests, and special education services are in place, they will be notified from us via an assurance where it says, okay, if we allow this right now, school leader and board chair, this is what you are committing to. So we have not put a time on that, but when we feel that time is right, they will know via the assurance that we will provide to them.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you both, really. Thank you so much. Okay. Brad Henry, Executive Director of External Affairs, on the go.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. The 2025 legislative session begins this coming Tuesday, so I wanted to give you a brief update on what the district will be paying close attention to this session. The first order of business in the Senate on Tuesday will be to debate a new version of the ESA, or the Education Savings Account Bill. Sometimes this is also referred to as the voucher bill. This bill gave a $6,000 stipend to qualified students to be able to attend private school and for various other educational purposes. The ESA bill, which was signed into law last year, was struck down by the state Supreme Court in the fall. Leadership in the legislature has made it clear that they wish to fix this law first thing and is expected to begin floor debate as soon as Tuesday. The new bill would use the South Carolina Education Lottery account to address the issues the Supreme Court found with the public funds being used for private education. Instead of $6,000, the amount available would be tied to base student cost and would be roughly $8,500 per student per year. This is important for our district to keep an eye on, as it has an impact on our schools, and because it also includes provisions that students who don't attend a charter school may use that funding to receive programming from a charter school, such as enrolling in particular classes, extracurricular activities, or after-school tutoring services. So that's something we're going to keep a close eye on as it develops. I would also predict that another version of the charter school accountability bill would also come up at some point this session, which we've been over and over the last few years, it seems like. As for our district, we have 3 priorities that we are closely monitoring and we are also advocating for. The first is the Education Infrastructure Bank. This is something that we came up with in an idea with the Speaker's office last year, and we're very happy to see has been included in the State Superintendent of Education's budget for this coming year. This would establish a permanent and comprehensive solution to provide sustainable funding for both rural public schools and public charter school facility construction. It's $100 million that's being proposed right now. That would be a recurring line item in the budget. And it would basically be so if a school spends $20 million or whatever the amount is on a facility or a facility upgrade, the state would match that money with another $20 million or whatever the amount is. Another thing that we are closely working on, and we worked on last legislative session, is military child preference for charter schools. We had a bill that we worked on with the Speaker's office again that made it, all the way through the House, all the way through the Senate. No one opposed it all along the way. It, went virtually unchallenged the entire time. And then in the last couple days of the legislative session, because of some other things that the Speaker was working on and the Senate holding up some of his things that he cared deeply about, the bill did not make it across the finish line at the last minute. And so this is something where it would give our schools the option. It would not it would not require it, but it would give our schools the option to offer a preference in the lottery to students of active duty military children. Another thing that we've worked on the last couple of years is access to the state bus fleet. Transportation and facilities are a constant challenge for all charter schools, no matter how big or how small. And the state bus fleet would be a game changer for all of our schools. We know that it would not be possible to open it up to all of them immediately, but we have been advocating very strongly for at least a pilot program, perhaps one school in a rural area and one school in an urban area, just to see how it goes. Superintendent Neely sent a letter to Superintendent Weaver last spring about this, and we've had ongoing conversations with her staff about that. That is something that would not require legislative action. It's really just a matter of the office or the Department of Education deciding that they would allow us to do this. They would, of course, need more funding for it, but that is something that they could very, very easily do, and we hope that they will. We hope that they will work with us on that project. One other thing I wanted to mention on a non-legislative front, but just something we're doing in collaboration with our schools that's more of a community advocacy kind of thing. We're going to have the first School Choice Expo, the first Kids First School Choice Expo in North Charleston in February. 11 to 2 at the North Charleston Sports Complex. All 9 of our Low Country Charleston area schools will be participating. They'll all have booths set up where they're inviting the community to learn more about their schools and enroll in their schools. They'll have some performances from their students and things like that. We as a district will have a booth there as well to inform the public and answer any questions. We hope you could join us for that if it fits with your schedule. And we think this is something that we'd like to replicate around the state to really get the word out there more in the community about our charter schools, what we do, what we stand for, and how we can help students and families and provide opportunity for them. Madam Chair, this concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I have a quick question. On the EIB, you had mentioned it was $100 million to rural traditional public schools and public charter schools. On the public charter, is that restricted to rural, or is that anywhere in the state?
No, that's open to any charter school in the state.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be rural.
Okay, very good. And I'm very excited to hear about the state bus fleet. That was music to my ears. Thank you.
Well, I just comment. I personally believe every charter school should is set aside for military men and women, regardless of what the state thinks. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some things don't need a vote.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, Brad. Thank you. Thank you, Brad. Emily Paul.
Brad's a little taller than I am. Madam Chair and members of the board, Happy New Year. I hope you all had a great holiday with your families. I got to spend some time at home with my family, which was really nice and unusual. So I am going to give you just a few updates on the progress on our annual plan and our strategic plan. The first is that we have redesigned our direction meetings, and those are going to begin to serve as kind of the origin point for cross-functional teams. That will allow information just to flow more freely between our teams and capitalize on the talents and expertise across our office to make sure that we're solving problems in a cross-functional way. We have completed most of our mid-year employee evaluations. We have a few lingering, just some people out of town and those kinds of things. I did want to shout out our finance team, the members of our finance team. I was able to serve as a second evaluator on most of their evaluations, and one of the themes of those evaluations was Because of all of the work that they're doing and meeting their goals and doing their jobs, we were able last month to come to you with a clean audit. And sometimes it's little teeny tiny actions that lead there, but it really is big work. And so I just wanted to shout out y'all for your work on that. We have also assessed and evaluated statewide market coverage. Brad's team led that effort. That will allow us to better target communities in need of high-quality charter schools, and just kind of allow us to hone our marketing and conversations in those areas and avoid our oversaturated areas. And then finally, we are wrapping the development of a newsletter. This newsletter is going to be cyclical. It's going to have just a few pieces of very need-to-know information, but it's more going to serve as just a more frequent communication and connection with our school leaders and our board chairs, and it will highlight and do some spotlights of some of the department work that's going on. Finally, I just wanted to let you know, please keep an eye out. You're going to be seeing a survey from Marlene. It hit your inboxes sometime in the next few weeks, and that's just going to allow us to better define the training that we're figuring out how to provide to you and the supports that we can provide to you. So when you see that, please take a minute and just complete it. It should be very, very short. That concludes my report, pending any questions.
Any questions? No, no.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, good morning. It's been a good meeting. It's a good way to start the year off on the right foot. Although, you know, in education, we always have challenges. So didn't expect the data breach issue, but I appreciate John and Josh and our team and our partners at Canty for being vigilant on this so that we can defend our schools and our teachers and our students' information. We will continue to keep you updated on that. Before the before the holidays, we continued our tour of schools, and you remember this past year we changed the name of Heartwood, and really excited about what's going on there. You can't see it in the picture, but back behind us to the right is where they're actually constructing the new school site. And it was just so wonderful to see the actual construction of that school. That was the former Meeting Street School, you might recall. Down on the right, we also visited Polaris Tech down in Jasper County, and really got into a really good discussion with them about some of their challenges. Their elementary school and their high school were both unsatisfactory in the latest report card. So we've been working with them to try to, you know, implement some changes there so that they can continue to provide a quality education for all students in Jasper County. Of course, we had our staff holiday luncheon. You can see me down there feeding my face. But just always good when we can all come together as a district family and celebrate the holidays and take a little time out, as Emily said, with family and friends. And I hope you all did. I did spend some time in Germany with my family, and we got to stay with my daughter, and I think we ate our way through Germany. So I'll be on my diet plan here soon. We had a few more pictures. I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, we had some more visits out at Midlands Middle, and really appreciate what they're doing. I want to recognize you, the board. I don't know if you realize, but this month is National School Board Recognition Month. So on behalf of your district staff, we'd like to thank you for committing yourself to public service and for putting kids first. We don't take your leadership lightly, and we're very appreciative of the fact that you all take time out of your personal and business lives to come to Columbia and dedicate it back to the children of our state. And we appreciate your support and your confidence in each of us.
It is a substantive joy.
Well, we hope so. That's the goal. That's the goal. And as Emily said, we want to continue to explore how we can best support you, whether it's knowledge, training, whatever. we're going to be really intentionally focused this year on helping build your capacity as a board.
Yeah, Billy and I really look forward to our plaque and our picture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been a joy, and we don't take your service lightly. We really appreciate what all you give back, because it's a lot, and people don't see it. And it's a thankless job. You know, you don't get a lot of pat on the backs, but just know that we're pulling for you and appreciate you. A few other updates of note. You might recall before the holidays, I gave an update on Sea Island Heritage Academy and the difficulties they've had this year financially. They continue to struggle. Financially, we're continuing to monitor their finances almost on a weekly basis, definitely monthly as we get their latest financial reports. A little bit of good news, though, they did get an advance payment of a grant of $200,000 from the Community Foundation. So we're hoping that maybe that will kind of change the direction of things and give them a little more resources to really get out in the community and encourage more families to look at them as an option down in Beaufort County. So we want to make note of that, and we appreciate that. Emily mentioned the direction team and really being focused on problems of practice, really looking at us as a district, but also our schools and where we see challenges and opportunities of growth, get the direction team together working on those problems to come up with solutions. Another school visit was Sea Island Heritage right before the holidays, and got to spend time in each of their 3 classes. And the teachers there are really, really strong. I mean, I was very impressed with the teachers that were there. The kids are safe, and that's the most important thing for us, is knowing they're safe and they have quality teachers. They just need more students to get the turnaround. We met with East Point before the holidays. They're looking to potentially expand in the Midlands and have a high school. You might recall our language immersion school over in West Columbia, over off 378, and they're looking to potentially open a high school, and we talked with them about that opportunity and what that would look like, and they're even interested in working with us and our partnership with Fort Jackson. So we're really excited about this new year and the opportunity to explore with that board and their leadership that opportunity. Recently spoke at the Rotary Club in downtown Columbia, and really had a great opportunity to really educate business leaders at the Rotary Club about charter schools, school choice, and the charter school district. And had a lot of good feedback, and in fact had a follow-up meeting yesterday with a member of that Rotary Club, looking for ways to support the district and really get the message out. And what can we do in the Midlands to increase the number of charter schools? Because this is the one area of the state where we still don't have really strong market presence, and so we would love to see more activity here. Also attended the superintendent's roundtable, and that's been just such a good collaborative opportunity to get to know superintendents, and I always get good feedback. I won't mention the district, but I got some really good feedback earlier this week from a superintendent from one of our larger school districts in the state, and just really praising us for doing the right thing when it comes to putting kids first, and for really being intentionally focused on closing the achievement gap and creating laboratories of innovation in our schools. And really appreciate those kind of outreaches from superintendents and their recognition that we're trying to do the right thing and be aligned with the law, but also be partners with them. And in that, this year I'm going to be really more intentionally focused on getting out. And when we do school visits with our schools, I'm also going to start visiting with our superintendents around the state, their schools, and having lunch, breaking bread. And so my first one is coming up next week, and I'll be with Dr. Tim Newman over in Darlington County. And I'm going to just go around the state and see superintendents and have them visit our schools, and then I visit one of their schools, and I mean, it's relationships, you know, and I don't want them to see us as a threat. I want them to see us as a great partner in this journey and work of putting kids first. Couple other things. I want to, on the Parent Advisory Council that Susan Howard is going to be leading, this is something that I think is really important for our district. You heard Emily talk about the growth and the number of students with disabilities. I just want to remind you that since 2020, we've grown by 69% in our students with disabilities. So we have, right now, we have 2,950 students with disabilities and another 966 with 504 plans. That growth, I think, is representative of the fact that our district over the last 5 years has been so intentionally focused on creating a message of inclusiveness among all kids. And I think families have recognized that, and they have recognized that they want to take an opportunity and a chance with our schools. And so we welcome that, and we welcome continued growth in this area, because we want to be seen as the statewide public school district that is open for all kids, and we want to be families' best option. And so I think having this Parent Advisory Council, we can be better informed by hearing from families firsthand about what their concerns are, what their needs are, what kind of opportunities there are for us to create innovative solutions for our students with disabilities. So really excited about doing this. I would say that it's probably the first statewide Parent Advisory Council for a school district in South Carolina. So I think that's also really neat. So a lot of firsts that continue to happen here, and it's all because of the staff. You have printed out this morning, given to you, a news article that came out literally right before the board meeting from the state newspaper, and it's talking about the charter school grant program for the federal government. I won't go into too much detail. I'll just say that the district supports the Department of Ed. They've been a good partner with us, and we've sent a letter just defining that support when they are getting questions from the federal government about the grant and oversight of charter schools. I mean, personally, I feel like we have plenty of oversight and accountability, and I think this district historically has a strong record in terms of how we've been overseen and held accountable by the department and the state. I will just add that, it seems to me like this is probably more political than anything. There probably is some overreach on the part of the U.S. Department of Ed. The timing's a little odd. And I'll just say that, like Title I, maybe they just need to block grant the charter school money and let school leaders and boards decide how best to spend that money, and let's get the federal government maybe out of that, and save taxpayers a little bit of money on some of that administrative overhead up there. So if you've got any more questions about that, I'll be happy to talk with you offline about that issue, but I do invite you to read that article. And then I think it's important that we remember those, Randy had mentioned this earlier, but those out in Los Angeles and the fires out there, things do get local, and you have relationships. And let's pray and remember our friends with Learn for Life, because they're headquartered right there in Los Angeles. And we were texting with them last night and said, if you need food, supplies, clothing, whatever, obviously we're going to pray, but we're here to support you. And they were very appreciative of that, and we're going to continue to stay in touch with them. We hope that none of their schools are impacted and their headquarters is not impacted, but let's just remember, even though it's all the way on the other side of the country, those people are being impacted by this, and we need to keep them in our prayers and be there to support them as we can. The last thing I'll talk about, and I'm actually going to read this. It's just a short LinkedIn post that I did the other day. I talked with the staff about this yesterday, but I don't do New Year's resolutions. I just never have. I'm not good at them. Eric, I'm going to expose you here. we were talking about this the other day, and Eric said, well, I already failed on mine. I ate a Reese's Cup first day, and, you know, I mean, it's tough. But anyway, Eric, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I participate. Yeah, somebody put some Young's peanuts on my table, and I think I've eaten my way through a couple trees. So, and some others have joined me in that as well. But all that to say, I do think that the new year is a great chance, though, for reflection and an opportunity to really think about our progress and our mission and our recommitment to our values. So I'm just going to read this short post that I wrote. And it's really my guidance to the team to implement this in all of our work. Our guiding motto at the South Carolina Public Charter School District is simple yet powerful: kids first. This principle will continue to guide everything we do. In 2025, we are renewing our commitment to lead with authenticity, integrity, and accountability to taxpayers while upholding the high standards of transparency. We will also remain faithful to our calling in the South Carolina Charter Act to close the achievement gap and ensure every child has access to high-quality educational opportunities. As former President John F. Kennedy once said, children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. Let's make 2025 a year of transformation and opportunity for the students and the families we serve. And that's going to be our guiding document and structure for all that we do, our work, our policies, our social media, everything that we do, we're going to be guided by this. And I think these are some great core principles that we should be aligned with. So at this time, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions, thoughts?
All right, hearing none. Madam Chair, that's the end of my report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will now go on to our final act, the Public Charter School District Quarterly Core Value Award.
Yes, good morning again. I am pleased to announce the third quarter PCSD Core Value Award winner. This person is an invaluable member of the district office team, serving as the strong but silent backbone that keeps operations running smoothly. Her unwavering dedication, meticulous attention to detail, and steady demeanor ensure that every task is handled efficiently and effectively. Whether she is coordinating complex schedules, supporting key initiatives, or stepping in to resolve challenges behind the scenes, her quiet strength and commitment to excellence create a foundation of stability and trust for the entire office. Her 11 years of contributions are vital to the district's success and deeply appreciated by all who work alongside her. Congratulations, Ms. Teresa, our third quarter core value award.
All right, come on up, Teresa. Woo! No, come on up.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right, well, we have a little something for you. Yeah. And Chi-Chi, I guess we'll get a photo and then we'll make some comments.
Come get. Yeah, get in the middle. Yeah.
Teresa, you are the South Carolina Public Charter School District. I mean, you are. I mean, you. No, it's all great, and it's because you come to this place with such a good heart and with such a good attitude, and you represent our core values. You represent those core principles that we just talked about. I mean, you are authentic, and you demonstrate great integrity. You're transparent, and you hold yourself accountable and your teammates accountable. And, you know, I'll never forget the first time I met you was when I was, you know, transferring over from the Myers Center from Greenville School District. And I just knew from my first interaction with you that you were somebody just very special who really cares about people. And you put people first. And so on behalf of the entire staff, we're just so appreciative of you, the person that you are, the way that you're led, by the spirit and the way that you demonstrate such great character and integrity for this district and really for all public schools in South Carolina. So thank you and congratulations.
Excellent people.
So now let me say a few things about you that I just think you are the first face you see when you walk into this building, and I will say Crystal Dennis and you are a great team. Y'all are a great team. I just sometimes have no reason to stop by. I just do. You know what I'm saying? Have you noticed sometimes I'll hang around there, I'll tell you the latest stuff I know and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, I can remember one or two things I wanted to say. When we were all in that other building, not in the other building, in the other life, before we really started to be who we are, I remember one day when things were at a real low, and you didn't want to say everything you thought because it wouldn't be good, but we always had a connection about where our values are and how important people are and how important children are, and that you always have wanted the best for this district, and you have helped make it be the best because of the person and the character that you are. And in fact, we had a precious time, I think it was 2 years ago now. She had a daughter at Clemson, and I had a daughter at Clemson, and Peggy McMaster was having a function at the mansion. Everybody had to know, we were taking tours of the grounds and stuff like that. And so our two daughters and us had a wonderful night there, late day, I guess it was, and into the evening, and the governor and Peggy addressed everyone, and it was a wonderful time. And your daughter had been in architecture as well, and my daughter, and so they were commenting on, you know, the period landscape, the period architecture and everything. It was just a very precious night that I think we'll always remember. Yeah, very special. It's really just so special. So I just think very highly of the person you are, and I just thank you. Every month you give me a place to sleep. And I so appreciate it.
Well, they know you well.
They know, yeah, they let me park my van anywhere I want. They're afraid to touch it, I think. So anyway, okay. Well, I just think very highly of you.
Thank you
so
very
much.
Teresa, did you want to say anything?
Thank you, everyone. We're a family. I couldn't do it without you, and I love every one of you, and I love what y'all contribute to this team. And that is my partner in crime over there.
I can tell. Like she's not listening. Okay, and with that, are we clear to move into adjournment?
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned. For lunch. We're going to eat lunch, is that right?
Hope so.
We're not finished yet. Yeah.
Either that or Billy's.